This week, I want to return to the issue of homelessness. First, I want to give you an update on a very personal story that I first conveyed to you in my initial message back in January. It's a story of Anne. Anne is a homeless woman who'd come to sleep on my block. More precisely, she'd come to sleep sitting up on a ledge on my corner. She had a worn blanket that she'd placed over her head to shield herself from the indignities of the outside world. Like so many of us, I passed Anne a few times conducting errands in the neighborhood, but then I changed my approach and I offered her some food. We began to confer and I learned Anne's story. Anne was born and raised in Nigeria. She studied law. She actually practiced law in Texas. Then I inferred she got into an abusive relationship there. Bad things began to happen. She fled to California. Worse things occurred. And there she was, on my block. I offered to get Anne some help. Initially, she was very skeptical. Then I gave her my business card, which helped break down some barriers, and I began to discuss options with her. She said, "But I don't want to go to Skid Row. It's dangerous for a single woman there." Well, eventually, we were able to connect Anne with temporary housing, and I never saw her again. Maybe 3 months later, I got an email from her, though. Remember, I gave her my business card. The subject line on the email read, "Reactivation." Anne reported that she had reactivated her membership in the Texas bar, that she was interested in taking the California bar and opening a law firm here in Los Angeles. I offered to help her. Didn't hear back. I then spoke at a church near downtown Los Angeles about Anne's story, and one of the congregants approached me after the service and gave me her business card. She indicated she wanted to help mentor Anne. Immediately, I conveyed the lawyer's contact information to Anne, and again, I heard nothing for a while. I got an email from her eventually, very contrite email, saying, I didn't realize how hard this was going to be. I'm just not ready yet. But recently, I got another email from Anne. She told me that now she was ready to study for the bar exam and to accept help. And so I reconnected her with a lawyer who'd offered to mentor her, and I found another individual who said that he would actually tutor Anne and prepare her for the California bar. I'm very optimistic about Anne's new future. Her story has so many dimensions to it. One is a testament to the power of housing. Here is a woman who was sleeping sitting up with a worn blanket over her head on my block, and only a few months later, having gotten some housing, prepared to re-enter the workforce and practice law again. Here is a woman who has a story, a personal, meaningful story. It's a story that expresses what we know about every person. She has value. She has dignity. Those are all important lessons here. Now, obviously, we need to be acting with urgency and with intensity in getting people who are living on our streets the housing and services they desperately need now. It's also the case that we need to assure that our public spaces are safe and accessible for everyone. That's why I support a measure currently pending in the City Council that would restrict sleeping, sitting, or lying on the sidewalk close to sensitive sites, like a newly constructed homeless shelter or a school. This proposal would support the siting of homeless housing, and it would assure our kids are safe walking to and from school, among other things. Clearly, our collective focus, though, needs to be on giving homeless people the services and shelter they need to lift themselves out of homelessness and get an alternative to them to living on the street. And that's why every neighborhood needs to say yes to the siting of homeless housing and services in communities throughout Los Angeles. I'm Mike Feuer, the Los Angeles City Attorney. Thanks for watching.